Yeah, man. So we got the guys. We're here, Black Men Think podcast for the Black Afterthought, and man, that was a fun conversation about college
Yep.
degrees, and whether or not they were actually worth it. Which is I
Right.
mean, that probably matters. I mean, across the board.
Yeah.
For me, the experience itself was probably the greatest takeaway.
Right.
But for somebody else who maybe in a nursing degree or something, or a law degree, every moment counts for something. So it's just interesting. It varies across the board.
No, I know. I mean, as you know, we reflect on this often, man. There's never a moment that we don't talk about our college experiences and how golden.
Hey, shout out to G State.
Panthers.
No,
I mean, well, that's a whole other thing. I was gonna say we, 2 for 2. Who's up next for that 40 under 40? That's a whole other thing. But seriously, we reflect honestly on our college experience, and I mean, we grew into men.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, the idea of the Black Men Think podcast wouldn't exist if it weren't for that college experience. Period.
That's true.
I
That's
think
true.
that right there is actually that's our biggest advocacy around the college experience.
Yeah.
You all wouldn't be able to even listen to us right now if it weren't for college. So that's that piece. But our degrees, man, we were just actually sitting around talking with each other around just like, are we doing anything with our degrees? And I know that this is a common conversation in America, in the workplace. And does your degree directly reflect in what you do professionally? And the answer for most actually Americans, much as Black people, is no. Like, most people are doing jobs that just like are whatever they find. Might have been a passion, might have been just circumstance, whatever.
Yeah, I think there was like a stat that says somewhere around like 27, 28% or something like that of people actually go into their work field after college, after graduating. I guess like a study in like 2013 or 10 or something like that. So it's insane.
No, it's crazy. I was just thinking about, bro, like in my work life, I've had 2 supervisors in my marketing position, and one has a degree in chemistry, and the other one was a musician.
Crazy.
And I'm the one with the marketing degree that actually studied it.
No. First off, you are the one with the robe on, Hugh Hefner.
Bro, look, I don't care what y'all say.
Oh,
my
you
robe
over
is
there.
plush.
That's what you
my
are.
Robe is plush.
Bro, you cold, bro? Like,
bro, I got my robe on.
He cozy. That's what he is. He cozy.
What they don't understand.
Bear.
What they don't understand is
Teddy
we
Ruxpin.
recording this right now at like damn near 1:00 in the morning, and I learned my lesson last time. I was like, look, let me go ahead and take a shower now and get situated, because last time I'm going in the shower at like 1:30. I'm getting to bed 2:00, and I'm waking up at 7. I'm like, hold on.
You're a certified granddad.
Hey, bro, say what you want to. Hey, that's it. Okay, I'll leave it alone. I don't want to get too personal on you.
Right.
Nothing better than a robe. I don't know how y'all give it up at night when y'all go to sleep, but I sleep different than most people. I just put it like that.
We're gonna leave it at that. You're right.
We're gonna leave it. And I respect that though, because I think I'm similar to you, so I know what you mean.
Yeah, bro.
I hear that.
Yeah. That's the best sleep, bro. Like, you really get your sleep on that way. I'm just telling y'all.
This is
Black Man Think cheat code, I guess. I mean,
it's the cheat code, bro.
That's the cheat code, bro.
That's the cheat code.
Hey, if you know, you know.
Man,
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. No, but for real, I mean, I think no, this is actually this one, because which actually was fascinating, what we didn't explore, but I know we've talked about at various points. When you go to college, you don't. There are those, right, who know what they're gonna do, because there's like very linear, like, oh, my mother was a doctor, my mother was a lawyer, my mother was a this. But like for me, I don't explicitly remember any direct, like, what do you want to be type of conversations, other than be what you want to be and be all that you can be. But I didn't have like a lot of that guidance and direction. So it's also very interesting. And that probably could be the answer to it. Remember I told you during the episode, I was contemplating like, man, I was thinking, but that's probably the answer, because so many people go into college lacking direction.
Yeah.
No, listen, that was the whole conversation me and my wife were having. And it was just like, you know, I went in with a very limited perspective on how high my ceiling was, you know. It's like I targeted one specific direction because it probably had a lot to do with what I saw coming up. You know, my family was obviously musical. My dad is very musical. But, you know, for me, I didn't have any guidance on how many directions I could have even went in the music industry, you know, like in my perception, it was go be a superstar, you know, go do whatever, go learn about becoming a superstar. And you know, when you get to college, you know, you take the classes, you finally get an internship, you finally get around, you know, the industry, and you realize, oh, it's a lot more complicated than that, you know, and there are a million different directions that this degree could potentially go in. But I also didn't even know enough at the time to hone in on intangible skills that would carry me through life as opposed to just through the music industry. And I think that's the message that we have to send, you know, the generations that are coming, that we have to send the parents that are, you know, obviously parents over these kids that are making these lifelong decisions. What can you do now, even while your child is in grade school, to expose them to the just to the variety of professions that they can go into with one degree or one, you know, I mean, Chris, you talked about being, you know, a sociology major, right? And your path is taking you in so many directions. JD, you obviously have a natural gift to be an entrepreneur, you know, and you went for a business degree, right? A marketing degree, right? So you've done so much with that degree, but you've also done a million other things. And just think, had we had any kind of indicators of what we would become now, how many more, you know, ideas we could have came up with.
No, that's a real point, man. This is one of those kind of conversations that really just make you ponder, really makes you think a lot, because obviously I think, and this is a whole other podcast episode, man, but we're going to have to explore eventually the conversation around categorically how some communities, there, you know, is only a couple of choices or paths for you, because
that's the conversation,
because they understand like we trying to consistently level up out here, and when and it's not so much actually that they're saying we're leveling up, but there's a baseline, like there is this is what you have to meet, right? Like I know, like particularly in the Indian community, like particularly like, yo, do y'all ever watch shout out to Hassan Minaj, shout out to the homie, man, with the Patriot Act show on Netflix. Brilliant show, man. Shout out to him for real.
I haven't checked it out yet.
And he talks a lot about how in the Indian community there are some rigid expectations, right? Like all the way through, like from what you become professionally, career-wise, you know, arranged marriages and all the, I mean, there's just like a lot of cultural overlay for what like happens in your life. And he talks about how he's this successful comedian, got a platform on Netflix. He's secured the bag for all intents and purposes. And he even had on an episode where he would say like his parents are still like, yo, you a failure.
Hey.
No, I'm serious.
Because he didn't follow the strategic path.
Exactly. Like he did not literally follow that specific path. And that's fascinating. And he talks about a lot about it in his show. I think y'all should check it out. He talks a lot about it. I think it actually, there's a lot to that conversation around what we're talking about, where I think, I told y'all this before on another podcast, that's where I think we got to get. I think we just got to get really, really crass about it.
Right.
There's a conversation I think we'll save for another day, because I'll say some things and I don't want to go there right now, but like, you see, and it's like, man, we go in these perpetual cycles of like, oh, here we go again, or why is this that way, or institutions seem to have that type of orientation. hey, there's only a couple of things in America that matter: the money, the politics, and the law around it.
Facts.
Now, granted,
Yeah,
like
real.
the medical and like keeping healthy and like all that stuff is in its own category. Like you always need doctors, so they're good. That's like beyond recession proof. Like you need that as healthcare professionals. And obviously there's like business elements of that. Y'all wives are in, you know, medical field and nursing, so there's like an element of that. But what I'm generally saying is, in this society, Western society, capitalistic structures, there's the politician who's, you know, making the policy, making the legislation, making the laws. Then you got the lawyers that are like setting up the legal doctrine and like the structure and like what it looks like. And then over here you got the business people that's cutting the business deals. So
right,
you know.
Yeah, bro. Like it's a unique situation to be in, and I think number one, I agree with you saying, like, we definitely got to get to a place of where we're just saying, like, you know what, you're going to be a doctor, and you're going to be an engineer, and if you don't want to do that, then sorry, but you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
I pray every day that my daughter does not want to do anything music. And every day she grabs either a real microphone or an imaginary microphone and has impeccable timing to be 2 years old. And I'm like, here we go.
Here we go. But I mean, she sees what she sees it though. You know, it's emulating.
She does.
But at the same time, I push back on that a little because I'm just like, you know, while I hear everything you're saying, I don't disagree with it. I just also feel that now with what we know, we have even more of a responsibility to support like their natural gift. Like if they are wired and passionate and have, you know, high potential in certain areas, then maybe we do a better diligence in this generation of information to guide them in all the directions that they can go in, as opposed to one. Like,
fair point.
Yeah,
he needs to see more than just, I'm going to become Beyonce one day. You know, like.
Yeah. See, I want to push it in there. Like, oh, babe, you like microphones? Let's look up how to create them.
Exactly. Exactly my point.
Hey, right.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, somebody had to make that microphone that you're playing with. Let's look up how to make that microphone. You know what I mean? And so,
I like that.
Yeah,
but that gets back to, that gets back to another episode that we had actually, because it's like it gets back to JD, your perspective. Whatever you do it at the highest level, like
highest level, bro. Highest level.
Period.
Like, oh, you like Beyonce? Somebody cut checks to Beyonce. Let's find that out. It is what it is.
Right.
Let's find that out.
Right.
Who cut her check?
Right. Who's songwriting for Beyonce? Who is the person that? I mean, once again. So, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. But look, man, I think this is a great Black afterthought. I mean, you'll hear from us. You're gonna hear this. We're here and glad that we're able to connect with our listeners, now our viewers. This is real, man. We're putting black male voices behind everyday conversations and experiences that you're living. So once again, let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you want to hear about, and we're gonna do it.
Yes, sir.
For sure.
We enjoy doing this, man. We appreciate y'all. Black Men Think Podcast.
Yep.
The Black Men Think Podcast.